I was supposed to be doing an investigation out here today, but, oh, actually, it was supposed to be yesterday, but I'm so late getting down here.
Investigation for
It's an open investigation, so I don't, on the city and the police department.
Well, I can't have you filming in a sensitive area inside my dispatch room.
Like that?
Yeah, exactly like that. So if you want to film officers or whatever when they're doing their job outside, as long as you keep a safe distance, I don't have a problem with that. But I can't have you coming in here because there's vital information in there filming.
Like right there?
Yeah, exactly.
If you touch me,
okay, sir, I'm going to have, you're going to leave. Do you understand me?
why?
Because I just asked you to leave.
You can't ask me to leave.
Okay,
It's your supervisor.
did he get
It's a
what-
public lobby.
Did he get what he
Hey,
did?
it's a public lobby. Calm down, de-escalate, put your hands down. Put your hands down.
Okay, so-
I need to do an open records request. Put your hands
Okay,
down.
well,
Calm
she's-
down.
oh,
De-escalate.
listen
Stop
to me.
yelling.
Open records
Don't be
is
disorderly.
yelling.
Don't be disorderly. By state law, I can give an open records request to any public
and
employee
they're
at any
closed
time.
Today, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. That's after 5.
Okay, well, I'm working with her.
Okay, she's
Hey,
done. All
ma'am.
right, is he done? Okay.
Is
done.
this supervisor here?
I am the supervisor. Let's go.
Don't touch me.
Outside.
Why are you pushing me?
Get out.
You got cameras in there? Jail? So if I don't leave, I'll go to jail? No, I don't want to go to jail. CJ. CJ. Yeah. Hey, I'm in Brownsville, Texas if I end up in jail. Lieutenant just picked me up and fucking threw me at the door. Yeah. Brownsville, Texas police. I'm inside of the lobby trying to fill out an open records request. He comes in and tells me I can't film in the lobby, fucking grabs me by the arm and throws me into the fucking door, dude. Shoves me out the door and says, "You want to go to jail? You fucking come in here again and you'll go to jail." Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fucking filmed.
our business attended to. It's great to see everybody here. Thanks for joining us on this lovely Wednesday. Before we get into anything, we got to make sure we know what the heck is going on out there with bird flu, because it's everywhere. This was an article from the New York Times. Look at all these birds, sickly birds flying all over the place. They say New York is freaking out over there because they're trying to prepare for bird flu, but they are only relying on a single drug. Oh no. said that they got plans there to confront bird flu because it's spreading among people. And they're saying we're going to need a vast stockpile of flu treatment medicine. But experts worry the stockpile is missing a Tamiflu drug. There's also another antiviral that might work, and so everybody's getting prepared for this thing. Given the uncertainty about how this might evolve, what treatments might ultimately work best, some public health experts worry that they might be relying on a single drug. And so a lot of this stuff is happening all around us all the time. The best thing we can do is be prepared. One way we can do that, our friends over at the Wellness Company, and they have
Drive to Speedway on Woodville Road.
prescription contagion emergency kit that is filled with a bunch of good stuff in case you need it. It's got other items for COVID, bird flu, respiratory illnesses, whatever's coming through. You're going to see inside, you'll find ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pak, Tamiflu, budesonide, all sorts of good stuff. It's backed by research from experts like Dr. Peter McCullough, and every American should have at least one of these kits at home. I've got mine right here. Looks just like this. And you should grab yours. Very simple to do that. Go over to the link in the description below. twc.health/Robert. Use code Robert. You're going to save money and you're going to get free shipping. And it's great to be prepared. Just rest assured knowing that you've got that there. So twc.health/Robert. Use code Robert at checkout. And these kits are only available in the USA. And we appreciate you supporting our sponsors and getting prepared. It's a good thing to get prepared. That way you have it in case you need it. All right, so now let's get into business because we have some good stuff. Senators release documents from J13, the attack in Butler, Pennsylvania, including a timeline. Senator Ron Johnson is assembling this, and what's very interesting about this one is that you'll see it's color-coded. I like colors here. You see text in green is what the media was reporting. Text in blue is from the Secret Service, Acting Director Ronald Rutrow's testimony, and then text in brown, or what kind of looks like red to us, looks like an orange here on our screen, is going to be Director Paul Abate's testimony, and then the red, which is clearly red, is going to be the Butler County radio comms. Of course, we're going to go through this and see what's inside. Ron Johnson had a full statement that we'll read through. There's also a new video that's come out showing that the gunman was kind of just moseying around the sloped roof up there, and nobody really was able to do anything about it for a long period of time. So we'll watch that video, and then we'll actually look at the Butler detail and looks like the security plan that failed so epically. You can see it's a 46-pager. It's got details about who was assigned where, and so we're going to go through it and see what's inside. So a bunch of stuff to get to. Let's start with the announcement from Johnson. He is a great senator from Wisconsin and all over this case. We saw him lacing into the Secret Service and the FBI, saying, "We have now released a new timeline, updated since everybody's now testified. The timeline also features radio communications from local law enforcement, as well as media reports, and highlights how law enforcement tracked crooks for 90 minutes. Now, Johnson entered this timeline into record during the hearing, and there Johnson also questioned Ronald Rowe and others. Timeline can be viewed here. Let's do it. So we already know what the colors stand for. Green is the media. Text is from local law enforcement. And then blue is Secret Service. Text in brown is from the FBI. And text in red is radio comms. So we're going to make sure we keep our eyes on that color legend here because there's a lot to remember there for your boy. So we'll go through this. And here is what happens. Boom, 4:26 p.m. Per media reports, officers first notice and send a text in a group chat about an individual later identified as Crooks. Media's reporting that. Law enforcement, we now know. At 5:10, local law enforcement sniper positioned in the American Glass Research Building first spots Crooks. LEOs local say AGR Sniper 1 takes 2 pictures of Crooks at 5:14. Truck comes out, speaks, and he's shot at 6:11. Let's keep that in mind. Secret Service Ronald Rowe in blue. He reports, according to Secret Service Ronald Rowe, former President Trump arrives at the Butler rally site at 5:30. So he comes on scene. Local law enforcement is already aware there's probably a problem here. Local team says AGR Sniper 1 observes Crooks looking at his phone and using a rangefinder 2 minutes after Trump shows up. Then at 5:38, Sniper 1 sends a message to a group of other local law enforcement snipers working the rally about Crooks. Hey guys, see this guy with a rangefinder looking at his cell phone? Kind of weird. Media supplements that. Says, per media reports, AGR Sniper 1 includes the pictures he took of Crooks and a description along with that Crooks was observed using a rangefinder in the direction of the stage. So the media supports that. Local teams say AGR Sniper 1 is told to call into command about Crooks. So he texts him, hey, this guy seems suspicious. Cool, call it in. Sniper 1 says, okay, I'll do it. 5:41, he copies and pastes and says, hey guys, there's this weird dude with a shirt on, he's using a rangefinder, and he's on his cell phone. He looks suspicious. Sends that in over the radio. All this stuff is being footnoted by Senator Johnston. We continue. Local reports tell us a sniper with Butler County sends the images and the description at 5:45, way before Trump ever came out, given by AGR Sniper 1 of Crooks to one of the Secret Service counter snipers at the rally. Okay, so local sniper sends to Secret Service sniper, including that Crooks was using a rangefinder. The Secret Service counter sniper responds, Roger, all notified teams on AGR side. Oh, so the Secret Service did have a team over there on the Secret Service side. Huh. So Secret Service knew that there was a suspicious suspect at 5:45 at the latest. Maybe even earlier. Now, which is way before they even brought Trump out. Trump came out at 6:03 per the media reports. When Ronald Rowe testified, he confirmed that the Butler County sniper sends the Secret Service counter sniper team leader a text with the images and description of Crooks. So that seems like, yep, they knew about it at 5:45. Now, according to Director Rowe at 5:53, 10 minutes before Trump comes out, 10 minutes, which is like an eternity, okay, when you're talking about bullets and security, it's like a month. 10 minutes. You ever see that show 24? That's like 25% of the whole episode. It's a lot. So they see he's lurking around. Secret Service says, whatever. Is it okay to bring out the former president? Yeah. I mean, we don't know where that guy is. Whatever. So yeah, let it go. 6:06, according to the FBI. Paul Abate. Video shows Crooks at 6:06 pulling himself onto the AGR building rooftop. 6:06, man, that clock is ticking. That there was someone on the roof of the AGR building. At 6:08, 20 seconds. Now, this is where we're getting very granular. 6:08 and 20 seconds. Because the bullet, apparently, gets fired at 6:11. Now, let's work backwards. From 6:11. So, about 90 seconds. Let's see. So local law enforcement at 6:08:20, 12 seconds go by. A local law enforcement officer reports there's an individual on the roof of the building wearing white shorts. We're trying to keep our eyes on for when the guy pulled himself up and fell off the roof and injured himself. So then we have this little, from 6:10 to 6:04, so we've got some overlapping timeline stuff here. I'm sorry, 6:10:19, 6:10:04 to 6:10:19. So just a few seconds is right what's happening here. A rally goer reports a video that appears to show Crooks on the roof of the building. In the video, a person can be heard saying, trying to get an officer's attention, and another person says he's on the roof right there. So there's a window during the media report. When did the first person see a rifle? I think as this timeline tells us, it might be this, right? Like at this moment. Appears to show he's He's on the roof, but no rifle. Local law enforcement, individual on the roof. There's a roof over, someone on the roof. But they also know it's a should have been followed. Okay, and maybe that adds some credibility to the story. Why he missed, he had to hurry the shots. Or if you're a second shooter theory person, why one shooter missed, or maybe even, or didn't shoot, right? If there were two shooters, maybe they were supposed to time the shot later, but one was hurried, shot first, so the second shooter didn't shoot, or something. Now, a local law enforcement officer, okay, let's back up, at 6:11, so the FBI and the Secret Service are now confirming this. So FBI says at 6:11, shooter points at the officer, guy falls off the roof, then he realigns with truck fires. All in like seconds. It must be like 30 seconds. Okay, like 60 seconds. Very fast. Over here, guy falls, he's over, starts sending him down. Now, according to Director Rowe of the Secret Service, a member of Trump's protective detail contacted their Pittsburgh field office to inquire about the radio update, that there was an issue local law enforcement was looking into near the perimeter. So Secret Service, they did call at 6:11. First shot fired at 6:11:33, so about 30 seconds into the 6:11 minute. At 6:11:03 seconds, a local law enforcement officer reports over the radio that the individual on the roof is armed and laying down. Local cop at 6:03. So that's 30 seconds. Not a lot of time. Over the radio that the individual on the roof is armed and laying down. And I'd like to know where that officer was. Like, how did you see that? Where was that cop? According to FBI Director Deputy Abate, the officer who reports this is the same local police officer who was boosted on the roof. Okay, so as we suspected, the guy pulls himself up. He's got a freaking gun up there. Falls down. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. There's a guy on the roof. He's got a gun. He's laying down. Okay, that cop calls it and probably saved lives that day. A lot. So, hero right there. Holy crap. Greg calls it at 6:03. A local law enforcement, 8 seconds later at 6:11:11, a local law enforcement officer reports over the radio that the individual on the roof is armed with a long gun. Okay, so now he's freaked out. Like 8 seconds have gone by. We have about 20 seconds later, a local law enforcement officer reports over the radio, shots fired at 6:11:33. Media reports, first shot fired, 6:11:33. All right, so now let's back that up. So we just bought ourselves another 30 seconds or so. So the first report of a firearm, right, 6:11. This is according to them, like 6:11:0. Media reports at 6:11:0. Right, so it's 30 seconds until they see the rifle. So 6:11:34, 1 second elapses, 2 more shots fired. So boom, boom, boom. Right, we heard the 3 consecutive. 37, according to media reports, additional gunshots are fired. That's the second batch of 5. At 6:11:40 seconds, local enforcement officer reports over the radio, lock down all roads, lock everything down. Local cops respond. At 6:11:52, according to media, 1 final gunshot is heard. Is that the sniper counter shot, the counter sniper kill shot? Then at 6:11:52 p.m., an alert tone is sent over multiple radio channels. At 6:11:57, an emergency traffic only announcement sent over multiple radios. Local law enforcement officer reports just seconds later over the radio that the shooter is down. Okay, at 6:12:11. So maybe that is the final gunshot that took him out, obviously. So 6:11:52. Then they confirm just 20 seconds later. Okay, got him. Command confirms receipt of the radio report that the shooter is down. Sheriff's officer reports on the radio, shooter is down. Okay, so it's interesting. The sheriffs had their comms. They got comms log. Local cops have comms logs. Secret Service doesn't have anything. I wonder why that is. So very interesting report here. And my gosh, that was a lot. It was very quick. And so you can see, and that cop may have boosted himself up like right into the line of sight there. with the other, with the shooter. So very, very interesting timeline. So thank you to Senator Johnson for bringing that out for us. Now we also have more, because here's a video of what that ultimately looked like, that timeline. Here is from the person who would ultimately shot James Copenhaver, released this video. It's his point of view showing the gunman on the roof seconds before he opened fire. So he was actually shot twice, critically wounded during this assassination attempt, and we're going to watch him just mosey across here on the roof. Everybody could see him, crowd could see him. There he is, right up there. So he's walking. Looks like he's walking across the roof right there, pokes his head up. Just arming up right there. You can see him arming up. It's absolutely crazy how they've done that. Let's watch that one more time. And then pops right up there again. All right, so very, very interesting. We can't see why the other Secret Service or the local snipers couldn't have eyes on him. But fortunately, we have this report. So this is what came out from Senator Chuck Grassley. This is the Butler ESU detail. And it looks like it is a plan from the local law enforcement. In fact, that's exactly what it is. Butler County ESU, they host a briefing for local law enforcement ahead of the Trump event. Now, Secret Service was not there when they went through this plan. This is from Chuck Grassley. He's a senator from Iowa, and he's given us a bunch of documents here. So the first one that we'll take a look at is this plan from the briefing. You see the location was in Butler, Pennsylvania. Here is the area of operation according to the document. Everybody showed up to be here except the Secret Service. Now, what's curious about this is it looks like the AGR building, which is here with the shooter about this location, apparently these were Beaver ESU sniper teams, right? Which is what the Secret Service said. And in fact, Ronald Rowe, he also told us, why didn't they look to their left? What happened to them? Right? The Secret Service was not in this building, evidently, or not in control of this area. So if this sniper is looking this direction and this sniper is looking this direction, nobody's covering this roof. Who's responsible for the security and making sure everything's covered? Well, I'd say the Secret Service is. So why didn't he look left? I don't know. Maybe you should have gone to the briefing and told him to look left, because you guys couldn't cover it. That would have been a good idea. Maybe they were suspecting that they didn't need to look left because you had Secret Service right here, dummy, and right here, idiots. So they should have been able to see this direction, okay? Now, the Secret Service is blaming the local cops on it, and it's disgusting and reprehensible. So maybe if they would have shown up and said, no, your perimeter is this whole entire roof, so you got to look this way, okay? So you watch this way, you over here, and then they would have said, well, we don't have this covered, or we don't have this covered. Maybe we should get it covered. Or maybe they just wanted it to be uncovered. So the Secret Service sniper teams were over here. You can see Washington SWAT on this building, Butler ESU covering this building. We got Butler County Hazmat stationed over here, FOP, Butler County CP, Beaver ESU located down here, EMS station, Secret Service posted up over here. Everything's pretty secured on that other end. Butler PD, get up the back end over here. But this whole perimeter was apparently just excluded from the Secret Service. They just said, can you guys post up over there? And then didn't even show up for the briefing. So this is what Johnson and Grassley have shared with us. Let's see what the rest of the presentation looked like. It said, all right, Republican president candidate Trump is there making a campaign visit. Here's the mission. Butler County ESU is tasked with the following. So local teams, 2 counter assault teams, QRF teams, quick reaction, and counter sniper teams. Say, here's the execution. All right, Secret Service apparently never showed up for this. Team 400 will rally at the farm show grounds at 900 hours. Team 400 will also be assisted by elements of Washington County SWAT, Beaver County ESU. And the plan brief will begin at 09:15. Once completed, elements will move to their farm show location. So here's the timeline, okay? At 9:15 in the morning, they're going to have an operational brief. At 11 o'clock, command post operational, sniper positions occupied, counter assault teams in positions, QRF teams also in position by
Chopper!
1 o'clock, gates open to the
No! I'm heading to Green Springs. I got some work to do out there.
At 16:20, the motorcade arrives. Trump speaks for 75 minutes from 1700 to 8:15. The motorcade leaves at 8:15. Then, upon departure, teams can stand down. Then there's going to be a check. We'll get these people. Now, location: Butler County.
Some issues with the phone holders. But, hey, yeah, I'm heading to Green Springs, so it's good. We got about another 44-minute drive.
Location of the ESU counter assault team. Okay, so this is going to show us where everything is. Counter assault team needs 6 operators. This is a team dedicated to responding to a coordinated attack on Trump. Okay, so they've got 6 dudes. Kind of scary that now they kind of know. It's just like 6 dudes. Okay, so like the, I guess, the terrorists will come back or Antifa. Right?
That is an old Suburban.
And actually, they don't even need that many people. They just need 1 dude who can
That
walk
was.
on the roof, but whatever. Beaver County also has 6 operators, so it's another, so ESU, so it's like 12 dudes, dedicated to another coordinated attack, so 2 teams of 6. QRF team has another 4 to 6 people. Members are to report all sightings of drones to CP. Members may be requested to assist in recovery of those said drones. Top Secret Service. Now here's the execution. Check this out, right? This is where there's a major problem. Watch this. And Chuck Grassley already released this. It says sectors ordered for importance. Sector 1 is the main stage and the audience. All of these sectors are listed, but none of them include the AGR building, which is right up here. Not even a photo. Maybe if the Secret Service had shown up to the briefing, then they could have participated in understanding why that should be covered. Wasn't even in there. Somebody could have talked about it. Now here are the execution of the sniper elements. So we're going to have Butler, Beaver, Washington at these locations. So Butler's down here. Butler Hazmat's over here. Secret Service, barn roof, top behind the main stage will be back here. And Hercules call signs. Got it. Who's doing administration and logistics? What do we have? We got Beaver, Bearcat, counter assault, 2 sniper teams. Counter assault. Here are the county codes, radio procedures. This is how they work. Here are the administration and logistics. Redacted. Command and control. This is how it'll work. These are all the people listed on the team. Here are the people in the personnel teams. Redacted. Here's the personnel. Redacted. Now we notice here we've got some. Looks like Secret Service counter sniper, Secret Service league, Secret Service cat team. All these individuals also listed on this communications list. Here's the personnel listed. Various contingencies. Here's what they're planning for. It's an interesting font choice right here. It says attack on the event if there's multiple actors, an assault on former President Trump, or if there's a single or active.
No, I don't. You brought it up.
Responders, each counter assault team hold their area of responsibility. So guard your location. Make sure we can respond to a secondary attack. Secret Service counter assault will handle the evacuation, so local cops will secure the premises. Here's the level of force. Well, let's read this. Because I wonder, members shall only use the amount of force which is reasonable to effect an arrest. Let's see. Policy to make sure we only use force that is reasonable. Here's deadly force, like could the local cops have shot the shooter? Or did they
Come on, peoples.
Local cops deadly force.
Hate when people hit the
When it
fucking
is
brakes
necessary for an
unnecessarily on the
officer to
freeway.
use a firearm or other instrument, the member shall exercise the utmost caution to avoid the danger and innocent persons. All uses of deadly force must be objectively reasonable based on the totality of the circumstances surrounding its use. Parameters for use of less lethal force, use of control devices, kinetic and impact. Let's see. Smoke grenades. Alright, so here's another aerial on the top of those roofs.
Yeah, that fact.
What's included in this
I hire for that factory, but I don't have to go there no more. I was so happy to be out of there. The place was miserable.
Here's a team. A lot of people there. Now, this was another curious one. Counter UAS, a drone operator. And they apparently were not actually using a drone. I don't know why that is. So, counter sniper teams, that's the Doc drone. Now, Grassley also released a bunch of other stuff. We have local sniper locations. We've got text messages. These were the assignments that
I'm gonna take the top bite just because.
from Chuck Grassley. These were the text messages that went around. And so there's a bunch of this. A lot of these redacted, kind of never read through it. But here you can see they're just saying, hey, listen, hey, this is the crew for Saturday. The plan is to leave hazmat. I'm going to bring a cooler, but get something to eat, okay? Butler talked about getting some pizzas, but, you know, it might sit heavy in the heat, so get prepared. Copy, I'll be driving. Here's the location. Here's the timeline of events. We read through a lot of that, so we took a picture of it. So they're getting all the materials. Now, it's interesting to me that we have text messages. Because what happens a lot is that the Secret Service just deletes them. We don't really know where they go, mysteriously, all the time. So those were one set of texts. Here is another angle. So this is kind of what the snipers were planning for, right? So this sniper says, okay, I've gone up into this window, and I can look out this direction. That's all I can see. If I'm in this window, I'm going to cover this area. And if I'm in this area, this sniper, I'm covering this area, right? So this is what they're talking about. Now, the Secret Service director, Ronald Rowe, came out and blamed them for this. He was saying, why didn't Green, literally came out, he got a poster board, cost him a ton of money. They spent a lot of time on it, way more time than they even spent showing up at Secret Service briefings. And they said, why didn't they just look left? Why didn't he just look over here? Well, they talked about it. I don't know, they were at their briefing, and this is how they split up the pie. Probably because they presumed that you guys were covering it from another angle. And you weren't. And so that's a different angle. Here is, wow, okay, so look at this. This is curious. So they actually had this posted up. And this is a little bit of a different angle, so it's hard to get our orientation on it. But this is where the snipers were located. All right, so this is what they had on. Looks like what they had on their wall, posted up on their wall. This was a sniper location, and it looks like he's on the first floor, not the second floor. Looks like he might be on the ground level there. So he's posted up. This is the barn where the snipers were on. Trump is speaking right about here. Off to the left on the screen is where the NGR building is. And so they have this location. I'd like to see a closer up of the window. Okay, there we go. Looks like they're on the ground floor. Okay, maybe that guy looks like he's on the second floor. But this is what he can see. Now, if you go to the other side of that, can he see on the roof? This guy looks like it's hard to tell what floor he's on. Maybe it's a hill going up. Going down and up. So theoretically they're on the second floor. They're supposed to be on the second floor. But even looking out that window, like this window, right, you're not getting a nice overview of that roof over there. So you're not that high at all. This one looks like it's probably on the second floor. Because he is looking out the window, looking down upon the people. That's a lot more believable. So another interesting set of photographs. And the Secret Service, had they been there, then they could have advised about who is covering what. That's why you have those meetings. So here's one that happened at 1:03. All right, I added you to the group. Okay, RGR here. All right, Secret Service counter sniping team will be heading to the grandstands to meet up with us in a couple of minutes at 1:45. They will be approaching from the Beaver Arbor side of the grounds. Copy, copy. All right, disregard. Looks like they're coming from Washington. Okay, all good. Yeah, everyone all good? We're good. All good. WR Sierra is good. Good. All right, just got a report. Blank is about an hour behind. Facepalm. Freaking guy, always late. right, this guy's out. 419. Guys, I'm out. Be safe. He had to leave. He had to bail out of there. Be safe. 10-4. Thanks for the assistance today. Be safe. 5:34 comes around. Game time. I don't know what the heck that was a reference to, but I don't know. So here is a red picnic table. Purple point of the ESU entry that was on the scene. We also had some more text messages. This was from one sniper who was leaving. He says, hey, okay, he left at 412. Hey, I'm out of here, guys. Here. Says, someone followed our leads again. Parked by our cars, just so you know. And that's the shooter, Crooks. Now, I'm just letting you know because you see me go out with my rifle and put in my car, so he knows you guys are up there. He's sitting in the direct right on a picnic table, about 50 yards from the exit. And that's exactly where this is. Okay, so this is that other angle. So Crooks was seated right there. So he leaves, goes out his car, he walks out of this front door. He's like, hey, there's this weird dude over. What is that? Just letting you guys know. They say, okay, roger that. Roger that. That bike was not there when I pulled out. Maybe have them check that car. Okay, so this sniper's like, he knows me. He's got the spidey sense. You can tell something's a little bit strange. And so we have this other, let's see, we have another one or two from Grassley. Now this is the photo, and then we have an after action report. So let's take a look at these at 5:45. Sends another one. If you want to send this to whoever at command, if you have the cell number. Trump hasn't come out yet. Okay, sent to strange. All right, they're asking for a direction of travel. I'm not sure. If he was up against the building, he was up against the building. If I had to guess, towards the back, away from the. Unfortunately. And so here is what happened after action. These are materials provided by Butler Command. After action report. Here's a timeline posted by Senator Chuck Grassley. We see here 1734, Butler County texts the Butler team, assumed. Blank sends a text to a group text. Response to blank, call it into command. Called it into command, 1741. Said, yep, 4 Sierra 2 to command. Communicating description in rangefinder.
Actually, off one job, heading to the other.
About the suspects, says send that back to command. And remember,
About a half hour out. I got to go do some computer work.
Local cops in the same building. Blank communication to blank regarding suspect in pictures, 1755. Blank acknowledges receipt, says, yep, going to give it up to the command. Blank to blank sent to command, asking for direction of travel. Unsure of direction of travel. Approximately at so-and-so at picnic tables. He has a backpack, was communicated via radio. Then from 1806 to 812, blank goes downstairs. Now who is that? Blank to blank, don't know where he went. So for about 6 minutes, blank goes downstairs of building 1 to meet patrol. Let them know suspect is around the building on the side of the fairgrounds. One marked vehicle and unmarked vehicle pull in together. Boom, shots fired. Unknown amount of time comes out, shooters down. 1823, blank and blank climb a black tactical ladder to the L of the building 3 door to access the roof. 1825, shooters pronounced dead by blank. 1825, general clearing by Beaver County with other agencies of the surrounding buildings. Things to clear everything out. DOA photo.
It's not the money, man.
Blank and blank. Blank sends confirmation to the command.
I'm trying to get to do this thing, this IT thing full time. I want to quit the day job. I don't make shit doing this, man. I charge them, but I don't make enough for what I do.
Blank was sent the phone number, and then the facial recognition photo was sent by blank to blank.
I got a vacation coming up.
Looks like in red we had a crowd control fence. There was a crowd screening here, another crowd control.
Normally I charge like minimum $50 an hour for this stuff, but I'm only charging them $30.
We couldn't see this roof. It's not our job to cover that roof. We were over here. This is what we had. This was the BC ESU sniper in this direction. chain link fence. Then there was a Secret Service Hercules sniper, presumably covering this roof. Butler ESU QRF team, Butler Command Post, Butler Hazmat, ESU's over here. Trump is speaking here on the stage. HSI, everybody else is all scattered around. So at 17:10, so at 5:10, the suspect was first spotted at this corner. Gross. Then we have the BC ESU snipers right here. Butler County sniper is here. And we have the photo bike and backpack located right here at 17:30. The suspect was noted at the picnic table.
My day job, I haven't had a raise in 4 years, so
And yes,
I'm pretty much topped
this is
out.
probably where they exited.
I run 3 fucking offices for them, and they don't want to give me a raise. And because of poor management above me,
Says, hey, I think
we haven't had a commission in over a year, or a bonus in over a year.
They're still here in that corner. The bicycle in the backpack is now over here. Uniform patrol meets at 1806 and 1811. And it looks like there is another sniper who's also trying to meet over here. Butler County sniper is also still in that room. They say shots fired at 1812 or like 1811. That happens. Then the Beaver County line of sight is here. Suspect's location is up here. Marked and unmarked vehicles now scrambling into the parking lot. Suspect goes down here. When the suspect goes down, we had a BC ESU sniper over here in building 4. We had the same sniper in building 2.
Sounds interesting.
See them, right? Don't think this sniper took a shot. It was somebody else in the office.
Need any equipment / production help, technical help,
I also
let
saw
me
the
know.
video. People were actually basically hunkered down right here, filming all of it happening. So and so and so and so make access to the roof. Find the bicycle in the backpack. Suspect is dead here. The sniper returns back to this location. Here's some photographs that we've seen. Here's the detonator, 9-volt battery tucked inside there. Apparently they were off when they were. Facial recognition photo, redacted, bloody all over the place, no doubt. And you can see overall this
Anytime, man, put it together.
Ladder to the roof after the incident. We had a black tactical ladder over here. We had
Need a little bit of notice, that's all.
Here, suspect down, and so on. So that's the after action report. A lot of that came out from Chuck Grassley and from the local cops. The question is, where's all the information from the Secret Service? Probably in the shredder with the rest of the January 6th evidence that they all delivered. So, very curious, very interesting to see how close in time all of this happened. And we're going to be here continuing to cover this.
Appreciate
We know
that.
Abate and Ronald Rowe promised a bunch more documents after that testimony in Congress. And we're going to be here continuing to
I've
cover
always
it.
believed in trying to stay busy, though.
Thanks for covering it with us. Thanks for subscribing to our channel and joining us. We'll see you back here on the next one. Now, we're not done yet. We're continuing on because we've got some other case updates that we need to jump into
But I do know how to relax as well.
relatively quickly because they're not major updates.
I gotta plan the relaxations though, a lot of
And
times.
so let's go through what's happening in New York first because it involves Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg and the prosecutors in New York are scrambling to try to salvage their case. They know that Trump is appealing what happened in Judge Burhan's courtroom because, well, Trump declared immunity. He said that I'm invoking my constitutional right that has been functionally available for every other president over the last 234 years. Like them, I'm immune from these types of claims. And the judge didn't even listen to those. Just some objections noted. We'll deal with it later. SCOTUS came down, said, you're wrong, you're wrong. Now they're panicked. Alvin Bragg is replying to Trump's appeal, saying that Trump is out of time. He didn't preserve this enough.
Oh yeah. You know, I think that's something that needs to be shown a little bit more. Just all these quote unquote frauditor channels,
Remember the Judge Burhan is not allowed.
ones that are calling actual auditors frauditors, 1A people frauditors.
So he just says, you can just like write a sticky note.
They talk about how
So that's what Trump is doing.
cop watchers are doing it for clicks and views and money. I've never made a penny on doing this, and I know most don't. I would like to tell most people that don't get in it, get in it for the money, get in it, for the civil rights.
He said that Trump didn't object to this immunity stuff at Trump. Expect usually very little from Alvin Bragg, but we get a lot of that. So he's going to walk us through Trump's tweets. He's going to say that, look, the tweets aren't immune. Hope Hicks' testimony is not immune. The Office of Government Ethics in that form, not immune. Madeline Westerhouse testimony, not immune. We're going to say, yes, it all is. And it all must be precluded. Madeline Westerhouse was Oval Office communications person. I'm sorry, operations person. Hope Hicks was communications.
See what happened to Freeman earlier today? That video he released just not too long ago? Fucking cop literally tossed him out of the lobby. Literally. Slammed him up against the door on the way out. It's only like a 7-minute video, but it's like, wow, that cop does not know what he just been into.
And saying that
What he just been into.
skip a lot of Alvin Bragg's just enjoyment of himself and jump in.
And Freeman will not let up.
See what God gives him the opportunity.
He will not let up.
Response here, but here is what they said in their permission slip filing. They tell the judge, Honorable Ron, they say,
I would hate for that to happen to anybody that's out there recording, doing 1A stuff.
File a reply. They say, first of all,
Yeah.
Bragg
But
did not
if it's
address
going to happen to anyone,
in their
and I know they're not going to get hurt, let it happen to Freeman, because he's got the resources
not to exceed 30 pages is warranted.
to put the full court press on that son of a bitch.
Misguided and inaccurate assumptions to the court that a previous motion was untimely, which they still make no effort to defend. He's saying, so they were wrong about that. He said, you can't file this. He said, you can't.
He's one that he doesn't need a bunch of people calling for him.
He's rubbing their nose in it. Saying Bragg's July 24th filing contains several legal and factual misrepresentations that invites further error with respect to the historic issues of first impression that the court must address. And so we are constrained by this page restriction from the judge. And so we're going to give you just a few.
I'm not surprised the cop did it. The cop didn't know who he was doing it to.
They say, all right, so Alvin Bragg says that we didn't preserve this. We didn't say objection, immunity. Yeah, we did. We made it repeatedly over the course of the trial. Trump's team says, listen, Judge, as to preservation, okay, President Trump objected to the admission of the challenged evidence prior to and during the trial. In response to a trial objection specifically, the court responded verbatim in the transcripts. Thank God it's recorded. He said, I ruled on this.
Why is that guy
The
flashing?
judge said the
Right.
objection is noted. The judge said, I don't think you need to object as to each question. Okay, shut up. I got it. And then Bragg says, you didn't object? Yes, you did. Multiple times we covered it here at length. So Bragg self-servingly attributes a non-immunity basis for Trump's subsequent trial objection to Twitter evidence. Now that inaccurate speculation is no basis to deny Trump belief. However, in light of the court's prohibition on speech,
Someone went off the edge there. You can see the skid marks.
So Bragg
Someone had a
can't
bad
know
day.
what the basis of our objection was because you told us we can't explain it. So in urging otherwise, Bragg relies on this case, but that case is bad. On the contrary, in fact, the Court of Appeals, the preservation reasoning focused on the fact that the appellate record is inadequate to fairly assess the merits. But that cannot be said here, as the court had, and still has, the opportunity to address the objections and to engage in fact-finding. They also tell us that Bragg completely ignores the significance of the Take Care Clause as a constitutional basis of authority for President Trump's official acts, including evidence of his actions with his comms director at the White House about investigations that had impeded his ability to devote his full attention to his official duties. And guess what? The Take Care Clause says that the president may discuss potential investigations and prosecutions with his attorney general and other Justice Department officials. So he can
Oh, hell yeah.
to
That's
take
fucking
care of
awesome.
The laws be faithfully executed. Right? He's got an obligation, and sometimes he has to address these things. Right? The president is a human being and has to address these things. So they say they haven't shown why that doesn't count. And so compounding that error, Alvin Bragg contends that Trump lacked supervisory authority over the FEC. Now, to the contrary, it's ridiculous. The FEC is clearly an executive branch agency that Trump oversaw pursuant to his authority.
yes,
He has the executive vesting clause powers. He bears
I
responsibility.
just used some
for all
points
the
at Speedway and got it for $2.59
And so
with $1
Bragg also
off.
mischaracterizes their evidence
Fucking
relating to
20 cents
FEC
cheaper there.
employees, saying Trump is trying to interfere with investigations. That's not true. That false claim requires exactly the type of
Got like
motive
80,000
inquiry that the Supreme
Speedway
Court
points.
has already forbidden, Alvin. You can't look into the motive, because if you look into somebody's motive, guess what? The person who's looking into the motive is always going to find they did something wrong. You're never going to look into it. If he was, then you can't prosecute him. Now, as to the unavailability of harmless error analysis, Bragg unsuccessfully strains to draw parallels to qualified privileges and non-structural constitutional errors. Such review is an inadequate safeguard for a peculiarly disruptive president immunity error and therefore unavailable, citing Trump. So for all of these reasons, Judge McConnell, we ask you to authorize a 30-page reply submission to provide President Trump with a complete that Bragg seeks to press on this court in his desperate dismissal of the lawless indictment and vacature of the jury's flawed and unjust verdicts. Signed by Todd Blanche, shout out, and Emil Bo of Blanche Law.
I think you're probably immune
Looking forward to seeing the full brief, 30 pages.
having to do that.
Alvin Bragg's ridiculous claims. They had evidence in this of all sorts of White House official business. They had pigs.
Well, that always helps. When the pigs hate the
They
other
had
pigs,
Michael Cohen.
it's a lot easier to get rid of one of them.
Stand that he did not go into the White House as White House Secretary. He did some work for Trump. In 2017, got
How close is Davenport to Waterloo?
at least it's arguably, and the judge never even considered it. So we're very much looking forward to where this goes, and they are unhappy about it. And in fact, we also have another update on this one. Remember that they're scheduling sentencing for September 18th at 10 a.m. There's going to be an off-calendar decision about all this immunity stuff on September 6th. And the question is, are we going to have sentencing at all? If it's still necessary, says the judge. We don't even know. So we're going to come back on September 18th, but the process continues nonetheless. Trump, as a
There you go.
convicted person, according to many, now I would make
About
an
2
argument
hours south.
that
East. Oh, okay.
it's not a reportable offense like under criminal
I
record.
don't think I've ever. I think I've driven to Iowa. I don't think I've
Practical
ever
matter until you have sentencing. We've already talked about this. But
flown over it.
here, they're explaining, right, he's got to go through this process and basically be prepared to be sentenced. Part of that is meeting with probation. And so the judge is now allowing Trump and his attorney to meet with the probation officer. So here is what Judge Robert Kahn has ruled on. It says, for the reasons stated in the letter application, it is hereby ordered that Mr.
Okay.
Blanche is permitted to be present during the pre-sentence
Dude.
investigation interview
Do you have a red light?
of Trump.
I don't think he does.
And so that was signed sometime
All right.
ago. I think that just made the public docket. No conditions of the interview have been described, but we now know that that is allowed to happen. So that's very curious and good news. Now, the other thing that's happening in New York is it looks like the E. Jean Carroll appeal is moving forward, and this will also have a court date around the same time. In fact, exactly the same time. The argument is going to be taking place Friday, September 6th at 10 a.m. This is the E. Jean Carroll case being rattled by the Bergdorf in the Bergdorf dressing room. I know by Bergdorf. Okay. So we're gonna have oral arguments on this. Looks like 10 minutes per side on this. 10 a.m. Friday on September 6th, which will be a great day indeed. So we're covering that. That is our Trump update.
Balance that road here. Let's go.
All right, now let's turn our attention over to what's happening in Florida.
Hello. Well, another one of them days, but I cut it off. I just said, closed my laptop at 5 o'clock and said bye.
Bye.
I have tons of shit on my desk, but I don't give a fuck. I'll deal with it tomorrow. So, got my hair cut, and I'm heading to Green Springs.
Good times.
About 10 minutes out. Make a good time.
Good.
Alright.
Hi.
Alright, I'll check in with you.
All right.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm in Northwest Ohio. I'm from Michigan originally.
Jack Smith's Florida case.
Wife already had a house down here, and I
You can see
was
this
employed
is what
pretty
they
well down here.
respected. Once more of the way
So,
for Jack Smith's document.
My son lives up in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti area.
But now they're appealing it. In fact, Jack Smith has submitted his notice of appeal into the 11th Circuit. Looks like this came from Jade Bratt, the Florida clocking in at 1.7. Says the United States hereby gives notice that it appeals to the 11th Circuit. And the 11th Circuit has come out and scheduled a briefing notice deadline.
Well, about
They've
40
said that
minutes
pursuant to the 11th
southwest
Circuit,
of Toledo,
brief is
little village called White House.
Appendix due shortly thereafter. Responding to the appeal, he won. He's going to be due 30 days after there, so looking like September 27th or so. And then Jack's brief will be due 3 weeks later, 21 days in reply. And so that's going to put us well into October. All right, so even if Judge Cannon gets overruled and this case comes back in, they're not doing anything before the election because that's going to put us right into October. So Jack Smith having a hard time. Politico is noting that as well. Florida classified documents case looks pretty much dead on arrival. In an exclusive interview, Merrick Garland is whining about this over at NBC. He explains, "I'm super smart." Okay, well then why did you appoint someone who is illegal to lead two very important cases according to your office? Talking about Jack Smith, here's Merrick.
Judge Eileen Cannon ruled that the way the Justice Department has been picking special counsels for decades is illegal, unconstitutional. Why do you disagree with that?
Look, as you well know, I picked this room for this interview. This is my favorite room in the Justice Department. It's a law library. For more than 20 years, I was a federal judge. Do I look like somebody who would make that basic mistake about
Yes.
the law? I
Yes.
don't think so.
Yes.
Our position is that it's constitutional and valid. That's why we appealed. I will say that this is the same process of appointing a special counsel and multiple special. Let's consider the legality of a special counsel appointment as a valid.
Considered it. There was some dicta in that one case ballot under the regulations and the statutes that they cobbled together. But they have cobbled together the statutes and they've applied them to Jack Smith, who was never a U.S. attorney at all, never appointed by the president or confirmed by the Senate. And so it's not the same thing. Look at his little smug face. Hey, dude, just because you're sitting in a law library doesn't mean you know the law. It was obvious from the beginning that Judge Cannon was right on this issue. The fact that she had the courage to actually rule the way she did is outstanding. But it's going to work its way up because this is rigged, and they know it's rigged. They did it for this reason, to find somebody who's not an actual U.S. attorney and to make him a prosecutor. And so that is Merrick Garland, and we also have more from him. He was also responding to the shooter who tried tried to execute Trump, said in a wide-ranging interview the Attorney General warned about the threat of political violence. Same DOJ who's prosecuting the J6ers like they're absolute murderous monsters, insurrectionists, for a short riot that took place that was enabled by a failed government.
As the nation's top law enforcement officer, how do you feel about what happened?
Look, this attack on the former president was a heinous attack on former President Trump, but also a heinous attack on our democracy itself. This was a major security failure.
G13, yeah.
How alarmed are you that a 20-year-old was able to get a clear shot 150 yards from a former president?
So this is extremely alarming. That's why we have to find out what happened here, why it happened, and make sure it doesn't happen again.
In a hearing today, Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe.
Go ahead,
You are
Senator.
refusing to answer clear and direct questions.
Demanding to know why no one has been fired yet.
We are investigating this. What the
What more do you
decision-making
need to
process
investigate
was.
to know that there were critical enough failures that some individuals ought to be held accountable? I mean, what more do you need to know?
What I need to know is exactly what happened, and
Rowe acknowledging the assassination attempt could have been prevented if his agency had deployed technology that would have revealed the gunman flew a drone overhead 2 hours before Mr. Trump spoke.
No, it's a bad area here, Chopper. I'm not surprised.
we could have perhaps found him. We could have.
Our intelligence community has made clear that we believe that the Iranians are attempting to kill or injure former high government officials. This is an ongoing issue. We have ongoing investigations.
You don't think we've seen the end?
I don't think we've seen the end of Iranian plotting, no.
Iranian plotting. Yeah, definitely not democratic lunacy that is behind any of this. So that's what's going on in Florida. Jack Smith is appealing it. Merrick Garland's crying about it. We'll be here continuing to cover all the updates in that case and more. And now, my friends, let's turn our attention to what happened here today.
To schedule
This
a Q-
wild scene. Donald Trump versus a journalist who tries to
Yeah, it's nice.
into
Corn on the left,
some
beans on the right.
racially charged conversation that might come back and bite him in the butt in the middle of
It's
this
Ohio for
2024
you.
election
Farm
season.
country.
A lot of people on the left were saying that's exactly what happened. I disagree. This was
Skies
a
are pretty cool,
very
too.
spicy interview from the former president. From the
Been
moment
hot
he
and
came
humid
out.
today, though.
Let's walk through
Up in
it.
the 90s today.
C-SPAN has for us all of these
80%
stars
humidity.
in this timeline, because every one of these is like a little explosion. It was a lot of fun. I think Trump was authentic and real, and I think the crowd actually enjoyed it because he is not like every other politician who comes in here and placates to them and tells them what they want to hear. Let's go through this together, starting now.
Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our
Got it.
reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election
Yeah,
year.
amazing job.
Is any
Yeah, nice to see you, Mr. President. Now, Kamala Harris didn't show up.
Thank you.
Very nice to see you, Mr. President. Kamala Harris refused to show up. Trump came there.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner.
Yeah.
First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the great. Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false